Pronounced, defined, used in lexical dispatch.
Bucolic, adjective, bucolically, of or relating to shepherds. Pastoral, relating to the countryside. Idyllic. Affinity, noun, a liking or sympathy for someone or something, especially because of shared characteristics. Kinship, a close similarity between two things. Rapport, chemical attraction. On the whole, life was less bucolic, less peaceful, more stressful, and more complicated than I would have thought. The couple's suburban home was bucolic, filled with turkeys, chickens, and a fabulous vegetable garden, according to the author's website. The first residents in the 1920s came for the bucolic, natural setting away from the grime of the city. This bucolic scene reminds residents of the townships of their cultural heritage. For some, this landscape with its grazing pasture is too comfortable, bucolic, and pastoral. They will invariably talk about what was left behind, a well-ordered bucolic life. The brochure's cover sports a classic bucolic farm scene, a shiny green tractor idling next to two hoppers overflowing with corn kernels. The cabinet is richly painted with scenes of bucolic splendor and ornate borders. A fan page allows users to show their preference, sympathy, or affinity for a brand, company, website, product, or celebrity. Families might choose an international adoption because of an affinity for a particular country or a desire to help. There was obviously a certain affinity between the two of us. He has an affinity for all things electronic and working toward his degree in computer engineering. He explains that he now feels an affinity with all people who suffer, even people he reads about in the news. The moralist may choose an interpretation that has an affinity with his or her own philosophical or theological point of view. These stages of the student writing and research process are most effective when students have done ecological identity work, a process of self-discovery that depends on exploring an affinity with a place. In general, molecules with higher aromaticity have a stronger affinity to biochar. This also applies to polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Still, the fact that these students have merely left one affinity group for another reinforces the value of such groups in general. Affinity chromatography is yet another complementary tool employed to fully characterize large molecules. Arsenic is found in toenails because of its high affinity to sulfhydryl groups. Small dense LDL, SD-LDL, are thought to have less affinity to LDL receptors in the liver and therefore less likely than their larger counterparts to be cleared from circulation.